Hello everyone, and welcome to your video on dealing with decimals. So let me give you a couple of decimal numbers to think about here for a second, and then we'll talk about what we can do to make our life with them a little easier. So if we had the decimal 0.02, if we multiplied it by 100, then we would wind up with just the number 2, right? If we had 4.463 and we multiplied it by 1,000, we would move our decimal point over 3 places, so we'd get the whole number 463. How many decimal places would we need to move this to get a whole number? Well, just 1, so that means we would have to multiply it by 10 to give us 19. Notice that the number of decimal places that you want to move should correspond with the number of zeros here, and then that will give you the whole number. So here we want to move it 3 places. We multiply it by 1,000, which has 3 zeros, and then we get 463. Here we want to move our decimal point 1 place, so we multiply it by 10, and then that gives us 19. Okay, hopefully that is, fairly straightforward. Let's take a look at how we might use this when solving equations. Let's say we have the following equation. 0.04x plus 1.26x equals 80.6. Okay, now we could totally just solve this normally, right? We could add our 0.04x with our 1.26x to get 1.30x equals 80.6. We could then divide by 1.30 or 1.3 if you prefer, and you get x equals 62. So that is one totally legitimate way to do this problem. However, let's pretend that we really don't like decimal points for whatever reason. Maybe the decimal point button on our calculator is broken. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we had a tragic math accident yesterday with decimal points and we don't want to deal with them today. I don't know. But we could get this so that we don't have decimal points to deal with anymore. And how would we do that? Well, we would have to move the decimal point. If we moved this decimal 2 places, and this one 2 places, and this one 2 places, now we would have regular numbers to deal with, right? How do we accomplish that, moving those decimal points 2 places each? Well, we're going to accomplish that by multiplying both sides of the equation by 100, because 100 has 2 zeros, so that will be 2 decimal places. So now I have 4, because I moved it 2, x plus 126x equals 8,060. That's my new equation after I multiply both sides, or every term, by 100. Now, I get 130x equals 8060. Divide both sides by 130, and I still get x equals 62. So all this is showing you is that if you don't want to mess with all these decimal points, you can multiply both sides of your equation so that you eliminate the decimal points. Let's look at a different one. Let's look at this one. Let's look at 1.4x minus 0.9x equals 52. How many places would it be convenient for us to move our decimal point? Well, I hope you saw 1 place, because if we move it 1 place here, then we get 14x. And if we move 1 place here, then we get 9x. And so we have to move 1 place over here, which will give us 520. What we just did is we multiplied both sides of the equation by 10. Why 10? Well, because it's got 1 0, and we wanted to move our decimal point just 1 place. Does that make sense? Now we can do 14x minus 9x, get 5x equals 520. Divide both sides by 5, and we get x equals 104. Let's just go back to the original problem. 1.4x minus 0.9x equals 52. Let's say we don't have an issue with decimal points. We put into our calculator 1.4 minus 0.9, that gives us 0.5x equals 52. We divide by 0.5, and so then that gives us x equals 104. Notice that you get the same answer regardless of what you do. It's simply preference. Do you not care if there's any decimal points? They don't intimidate you? You're fine with that? Or do you want them to go bye-bye? In which case you need to multiply both sides of your equations so that you can move your decimal point. Now, this is about as hard as it gets right here. I'm going to give you a funky equation. I'm going to give you 1.47x plus 86 equals 3.807x. All right, this is about as challenging as it comes. Here's my question. How many places would we like to move the decimal point? If we felt like we had to get rid of the decimal point. Here we'd like to move it 2 places. Here we'd like to move it 3 places. Well, that's not allowed. You can't move one side of your equation only by 100 and the other side of your equation by 1,000. That would be cheating. And it would also give you a wrong answer. So instead, we're just going to go with a bigger number. We're going to multiply both sides by 1,000. So now our new equation is going to be 1470, because we move it to 3 places. So we have one more 0 in there. X plus 86,000, because that gets moved 1, 2, 3 for 3 more places, equals 3807x. And now we can just solve normal. All of our decimals are gone. Everything looks nice and neat. We have 86,000 equals 2337x. So x is going to equal 86,000 divided by 2,337, which is a very ugly number. If you put it in your calculator, you get an irrational number, a never-ending decimal that doesn't seem to repeat. And I don't think that that can be reduced anymore. So I'm going to leave it just like that. And that is going to be the end of this video.